Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back with another movie. Not really a review, but my thoughts and everything surrounding. So it's not really. I guess if you guys want to say review, I want to review. I'm going to give my thought on the whole movie, and that's what I've always done. Given my whole thoughts on the movie from like as everything, the perspective of what it looks like and everything. So this movie, let's see when. Yeah. Okay, so next year in 2019 will be better. But right now we're still in 2018 and we have the movie review for Aquaman. So I have a list everywhere of what I need to do for the next couple of weeks and next year and so on. So Aquaman, to me, seemed like it was going to be boring based upon movie trailers, because every time I watch movie trailers to get insights of what I think the movie is going to be. So if I see a movie trailer and it doesn't compel me, I don't want to watch the movie. But if I watch a trailer and it compels me, then I go watch it. But this is the biggest problem with that, is that if I watch a movie trailer, it could be an awesome movie trailer, then you go to the movie and it's all boring. Or you go watch a trailer and it's all boring, and then the movie comes out to be amazing, out of this world movie, like wow. Okay, so let's get on with the Aquaman. So like I said, this movie didn't seem compelling to me because it was just the trailers were all boring to me, just to me, not everybody else, because then all of you are going to say that, oh, how could you say that about the trailers? How could you say that? It's my opinion. And when I went to watch this movie, I did not actually pay attention to who were the actors in that movie. But when I started watching the first like 15 minutes of the movie, I thought it was going to be another like some sort of space movie again, because most superheroes, and I don't care what you're saying, I mean I don't care what you guys have to say, but I mean I don't care if you guys disagree with me, not what I just said before, but disagree with me. But most movies of superheroes all have some sort of aliens, or their origin story is coming from like space and everything, and that's normal. But I don't understand why every story has to start the same, of space, like aliens and robots and all that stuff. Superman, alien. I mean, he's like alien. He's like comes from another planet, so that's when you can say alien. And then the same thing goes for Supergirl. But movies, I would say, most of them come from like another world, or I mean, yeah, another planet, which is considered alien planets. So the first 15 minutes, I thought it was going to be boring, because let me explain why I thought this movie was going to be boring. Is because we've seen many movies like Suicide Squad that was boring. Justice League wasn't that horrible compared to Suicide Squad, but it was still like here and there. It wasn't wow, an amazing movie. But watching this movie, I ended up loving it. I loved the visuals. I know everything is all CGI and computer graphics and everything. And by computer graphics, I mean like they use a bunch of equipment to try to make you think that they're in the real place. They're in that place underwater. And it was so beautiful. This movie was beautiful from the beginning to the end. The only thing that I have to say that I did not like was that the movie was, it felt to me like the movie was forever. It was never going to end. It's like the movie starts here, then they just, it's like a person that starts talking and just talks for like 3 4 hours. Maybe let's say they talk for like maybe like 1 hour, but it feels like they're going to be talking for ever, and there's no end to their talking. So that's how I felt this movie. And just so you guys know, if you haven't watched this movie, or if you're going to watch, or if you're going to skip this movie to watch it on DVD or wherever they have this movie in the future, and I don't have to say that because everyone's poor and you cannot afford to go to a theater. And I understand that most people don't want to go to a theater because they just don't like going to a movie theater. So no disrespect to anybody there. But this movie, if you guys have watched Black Panther, this movie is the white version of Black Panther. Because they always talk about Atlantis being a world. It's like Atlantis was in the upper world, like that, the real world, the not underwater, but it's like California. Say the United States is a country, and all of a sudden, for some weird reason, this country just decides to be destroyed and go down in rubble and end up at the bottom. I'm like that's the new Atlantis. So that's crazy. And I love this movie because James Wan, and I think it was James Wan, the director or something. And to be honest, he did a good job with this movie because he showed his kind of, how do I say, it showed his scary moments. Like, he's done stuff that's scary, and he brought out some scary stuff in this movie with like these fish, or like kind of zombies or aliens or Martians or whatever you want to call them. I don't really know what to call them, like creatures from the underworld, because this movie basically, to me, and I'll say this, basically imagine that you watch Black Panther, that, I don't know, T'Challa, I think that's his name or something in Black Panther, T'Challa, or whatever. I don't know what's the name of the dude from Black Panther. I mean, in the movie, I think his name is T'Challa or something like that. And in that movie, oh man, it's like Black Panther. But the reason I say it's kind of different between these two movies is because the movies, one is African Americans, and then the other ones are white. And Aquaman, basically they did the same thing. Both Black Panther and Aquaman resemble each other in a bigger picture than everybody else decides, because it's because the brother, because, well, let me explain why. I think they're both the same movies, but different actors and different turns of event that bring it to be the same movie in different plots. Okay, so in Black Panther, you get to see that the main character of Black Panther, he's in the real world, or I'm not saying the real world, but he's in his own. He's in like California or something. I think he's in California, and he ends up going to Africa to fight, because Africa is being destroyed or something, and he has to go and fight. And because he has to fight his brother, because his brother's trying to be the next king. And that's the same thing that happens in Aquaman. Aquaman is living in the real world, or I mean not the real world, but the upper world. I think I don't know if it's California, Or where is it? I think it was also California. Or somewhere that Aquaman is in. And his mom is not a real person. Is more of a mermaid. I think she's a mermaid. And she marries a guy that's in the real world. Or on land. And then they make a baby. Which makes Jason Momoa's Aquaman. And Aquaman doesn't want to do anything with being Aquaman or being superhero. I just want to be me. I just want to be this person. But what Aquaman doesn't know is that he has a brother that is, how do I say, under? I would say he's underwater because Atlantis, like I said, was a place on land. Atlantis was land, but then it sunk due to, like, I think destruction or like meteor or something. I don't really know what really happened with Atlantis, but what I know is that Aquaman wants to prove that he's the king also. He's the king. He's better than his brother because his brother says, because his brother's like, I want you to be here. I want you to be here with me, brother. I want you, you better leave. At first he wants him there because he's like, I want you to see that I'm going to be the next king and stuff. But then in the end, the brother's like, nope. The brother of Aquaman says, nope, better leave because it's going down. This whole place is going down, and I don't want to see you get hurt. I don't want to see you get hurt. And I think this movie, how I saw it, was that Aquaman was supposed to be... Let me explain Aquaman like this. Aquaman himself has to... I guess the purpose of the movie was to save his mom, be the next king, and save the underworld, which the underworld, underwater, or the underwater world of Atlantis, was so advanced that it looked like they had another world underneath the water. It's like, say, California. If you go to downtown Los Angeles, you get to see how beautiful the towers are and everything, and that's how it looks underwater. And by towers, I just mean towers themselves, not everything surrounding Los Angeles, because there's many places that people don't want to visit, and then there's places that people want to visit because the environment is beautiful, it looks clean, it looks advanced, it looks like something major, powerful, and like great. But Aquaman, I don't know. Let's see. I have to check it out though, because I'm not really sure. Because I need to check it out. Who is the enemy of Aquaman? So, who is the enemy of Aquaman? And the answer was Black Manta. And let me explain the Black Manta. Okay, so Black Manta doesn't hate Aquaman. At first, he doesn't hate him, because the villain in reality is Black Manta, not the brother of Aquaman, because that's just a mini fight that they have to go through in order to realize that everything is just like get out of the way sort of thing. It's like a side fight. It's not a main fight that they do. It's not the main story. It's just a side fight until the mother returns, because Aquaman saves her or finds her somewhere underwater, and then when they find each other, they go back to, I guess, land to do the final fight, the final side fight, and that's how they end up knowing that The mom is here. I loved you. I didn't want it to be this way. But there's a scene where Aquaman fights pre-Manta. Pre. And by pre, I mean before. The before Manta. Before he becomes Manta. He fights him in a submarine because these guys are psycho. Trying to, I think, take over... Oh, trying to destroy the underworld, which is Atlantis. Because Atlantis is already destroyed, so they still want to take down Atlantis in the underworld. The underwater Atlantis. And this dude... these dudes are like sailors or in the Navy or something. And they're bad guys, but Aquaman goes to the submarine and tries to figure out what's going on in the submarine because the submarine is attacking the underworld Atlantis. So when Aquaman gets inside, that's when he finds this Navy team or army, and they're bad guys. I mean, they're not technically 100% bad guys. They're technically not 100% bad guys because they just want to destroy Atlantis because it's like they don't like Atlantis. They don't want Atlantis for some reason. They just want to take down Atlantis, but then they're kind of like the good guys because just imagine James Gordon of Batman versus Batman. Like James Gordon's a good guy, but he still wants to take down Batman because Batman, they claim he's causing problems and stuff, but James Gordon is a good guy, and so is Batman, but they don't collide with each other good. They don't mix good. They collide. They go like that. They crash into each other. So that's how it is. So Aquaman fights Black Manta's dad and figures out, takes him down. He beats he beats Black Manta's dad and leaves him there in the submarine getting filled with water, stuck because the tube fell on Black Manta's dad, and Black Manta has no strength to fight. He has no strength to take down, to get that pipe away from his dad. And Black Manta says, "Save my dad. I forgive you. Just save my dad and everything's going to be good." And Aquaman says no. And just lets him die. Lets him, technically just... And that's sad, though, that has to happen. And that's where you get to see that Black Manta goes crazy and starts designing his suit. I think from like a scientist or something. They bring him the best suit out there to take out Aquaman. And for me, that Aquaman was so powerful that he could defeat anybody. But Black Manta came out with so much strength. But I don't know what's a Manta. What is it anyways? I want to know what is a Manta. Okay, so look. Okay, so it says here that a manta is a devil ray that occurs all in tropical seas and may reach very great sizes. So manta is like... Okay, so a manta is one of those. Okay. Okay, so I saw what a manta is. So it's crazy how Aquaman ends up defeating the Black Manta and leaves him with his eye in the end like messed up. He ends up with his eye going all messed up. But we get to see in the last movie, the last scene of the movie where Black Manta is there. with his eye messed up, and he shows like he wants to come back again because in it feels like in the next Aquaman there's going to be Black Manta again. It seems like Black Manta is. It seems like Black Manta's supposed to return or something in the next movie, which is crazy. Because this movie, let me explain something to you about this movie. That DC supposedly, according to news I heard on the internet, news surrounding DC Universe or the DC Extended Universe showed that if Aquaman did not deliver as promised, and all the movies deliver, I don't care what anybody says. Movies always deliver, even if it's a bad movie, it always delivers. So I just have to say that this movie was incredible, and the DC with this movie, with this Aquaman, if it did not do good in the box office, they would scrap everything and start over again from day one, from the first move again. Pretend like everything that they ever did is thrown away. Just imagine like Eminem. And I always have to say that. It's like recovery. If you guys have heard of, if you heard recovery and every lyric he said, just trash. Throw that away, start again, pick up from the beginning again and do it. And if it fails again, throw it away and start again. So Aquaman was supposed to be the reboot. It's supposed to cause a reboot if the movie would have sucked. If it would have been bad. But for me, this movie was incredible. Except the time that it took. It took forever. So thank you guys for watching. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one.